This all stems from the fact that he was specifically engineered for this. He was purposely engineered to have speed and strength capabilities above any being in the Sonic universe, and that's how Shadow was born, by the hands of none other than Gerald Robotnik, the father of Dr. Eggman or Dr. Robotnik. Of course, there has been a lot of speculation and a lot of Easter eggs in the trailer that says that Amy Rose is actually going to be another character added to the Sonic 3. Rose is actually the one that helped Shadow come to his senses and helped him understand that humans are not bad, because he wanted revenge against what happened to Maria Robotnik, his most precious human who was taken down by the GUN agent. Knowing this, and knowing that Amy Rose is the only remedy for this, it makes a lot of sense that she's going to be the new addition to the Sonic 3 movie. But what are the news and the clues and all the information we have about this? And the proof, guys, is really there. And it makes a lot of sense that she's going to appear. So this is exactly what I'm going to be talking about today, guys. We're going to be seeing all the clues that we see in the trailer, the news, and the hints that the studio has given us to make us understand that Amy Rose is going to be the secondary character added to none other than Sonic the Hedgehog 3 movie. An epic one. So without further ado, guys, let's get right into it. Before we get into the leaked scenes and the leaked audio information that we know about the Sonic 3 movie concerning Amy Rose coming up, we have to understand something about the direction of the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise, because this is really going to give us a lot of context, and it's going to make a lot of sense of Amy being in the movie, and it's going to make it a fact rather than just being a theory of people on the internet, and really understanding how the whole thing is going to play out. So this empty piece that we need to understand about the puzzle is the pattern the directors of the Sonic the Hedgehog movie franchise have followed in previous movies. And this pattern is introducing characters in the previous movies that we know about the game and the series of Sonic the Hedgehog, and introducing them in the sequels. The first Sonic the Hedgehog movie obviously didn't have that many characters because it was the introduction to the franchise, and the studio wanted to get to know if people were gonna like it or not. So the first villain that we saw was Dr. Eggman, with no other secondary characters other than Sonic himself. In the second movie, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, this sequel of the first movie, we saw this pattern. One new friend of Sonic, one new antagonist of Sonic. The first friend of Sonic that we see is, of course, Tails, that actually we see at the end of the first movie, but we are introduced to him in the second movie when he comes to save Sonic in the police car. But the new antagonist that we see in the movie is Knuckles, of course, that is presented to us as a team with Dr. Eggman. In the end, Sonic the Hedgehog is able to convince Knuckles that Dr. Eggman's plan is evil, and he's able to convince him to ally himself with him, and in the end, they become friends. And that's why in the trailer for the Sonic the Hedgehog movie 3, we see them all together having fun. But knowing that this pattern is what the directors have followed, what do we know about the third movie? Well, we know that there is going to be a new villain, a very epic and powerful villain, and that is Shadow the Hedgehog. But where is the new friend? Because we know that the pattern that they follow is giving us a new friend and a new antagonist of Sonic. We have the antagonist. Where is the friend? Well, this is why it makes a lot of sense that Amy Rose is going to be that new friend that Sonic the Hedgehog, Tails, and Knuckles are gonna see for the first time, and they're gonna be able to get along with to defeat Shadow. So now that we know a little bit more background of why Amy Rose may come up in the movie, and it's a very big probability, what about the leaks that we've seen about the Sonic the Hedgehog 3 movie? Well, the main reason why the whole internet was saying that Amy Rose is gonna come up in this movie is because of a sequence that got leaked and was actually in the trailer, but in this leaked scene of the movie, we can see it a little bit better and more clearer. We can see that Tails and Sonic are tied to a pole, and they really can't move and can't do anything about it. And we can guess from the trailer and from the narrative of the whole storyline that the person who put them there is probably Shadow the Hedgehog, and he was able to overpower them a lot. Now, in this leaked sequence, we can see another character that is of a rose pink color tied next to Tails and Sonic. And if we actually go and look at Amy Rose in the games and in the Sonic the Hedgehog series and put them close to this one, we can very much theorize that this girl right here is actually none other than Amy Rose herself. Because the way we see the character, the colors, point to the appearance of Amy Rose. Because if we really take a close look at the leaked image of Amy Rose, we can see that she has gloves. And if we go back to the games and the series, we see that she has the same exact white glove. gloves. If we look at the boots, we see that those boots are the same exact ones that we see in the games and in the series. They are red, and the gloves are white, and the same size. Many people in response to these news have said that this is actually Knuckles and it has nothing to do with Amy Rose. But this doesn't make any sense because we know that Knuckles doesn't look like that. We know the exact appearance of Knuckles, and we know that he's of a completely red color. And there can be no misconception about the color and appearance of Knuckles and Amy Rose. If you put them apart one by one, there can be no misconception. The character that we see right here cannot be Knuckles because the color of his body is not that of Knuckles. People have also said that the brightness is different and that's why it looks of a different color. But again, this is easily debunkable because if we actually zoom out and look at the whole picture, we know that the brightness is just fine. Now, again, it is not certain that Amy Rose is going to come up in Sonic the Hedgehog 3, but it is very likely that it's going to happen. We still can't rule out that this may be Knuckles and it may have been altered to look like Amy Rose. Regardless of this, Amy Rose coming in would be absolutely revolutionary and it would shock all of us.